Well,
The main course.
we'll see. We'll see.
We're just
I'll read.
appetizers.
I'll read a few quotes.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Just to
that's nice.
kind of. This is by one of the great Sufi masters. I bet Nasreen knows. It's Bayazid Bastami. Bayazid, you're familiar. Anyway, this is what he said, and this quote might have been in Mandalay Hall. I can't quite remember, but I think it was, and may still be there. See if you recognize it. So he's one of the Sufi perfect masters. At the outset, I was mistaken in four respects. I set out to remember God, to know Him, to love Him, and to seek Him. When I came to the end of my journey, I saw that He had remembered me before I remembered Him, that His knowledge of me had preceded my knowledge of Him, that His love for me had existed before my love for Him, and He had sought me before I sought Him. Nasreen, I can't hear you.
I said beautiful.
Yeah. Now this is Baba.
Jeff?
What? Go ahead. Yes, Lenita.
I would ask to read it again, but only if it's okay with you, of course.
Yeah. This
Did
is
you
one of
hear
the
me?
yeah, one of the Sufi perfect masters. At the outset, I was
Okay, thank you,
mistaken
Jeff.
at the outset I was mistaken in four respects. I set out to remember God, to know Him, to love Him, and to seek Him. When I came to the end of my journey, I saw that He had remembered me before I remembered Him, that His knowledge of me had preceded my knowledge of Him, that His love for me had existed before my love for Him, and He had sought me before I sought Him.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Here's Baba. This is a quote from Baba. When everything goes wrong, the mind becomes helpless, and it has to rely entirely upon the heart. These are the moments when you resign yourself to my will, and so rely solely on my help. When you leave all to me, I dare not, care not, and you are relieved of your predicament.
Yes.
That's one line that Erich used to quote about Baba. I dare not, care not. I dare not care. I dare not, care not.
Not neglect you.
He has to look after us. Let's see. This is Darwin Shaw. One who truly loves does not need this love reciprocated because one is already experiencing fulfillment. One who truly loves does not need this love reciprocated because one is already experiencing fulfillment. It's not like a bargain, you know. It's such a privilege to love that it's fulfilling in itself. This is Francis Brabazon, and this is really a great quote for Baba's birthday, you might say. Men are born and are reborn until they die into the deathless and are born again, and never born again. But one man, being birthless and deathless, takes birth again and again because of the cry of the world for relief from the burden of living, and to mirror himself in the tears of his lovers. So this is Francis Brabazon. Men are born and are reborn until they die into the deathless and are never born again.
Mm.
But one man, being birthless and deathless, takes birth again and again because of the cry of the world for relief from the burden of living,
Mhm.
and to mirror himself in the tears of his lovers.
Mm.
I'll read one last one and see if Cliff can understand this. Are you looking for me? This is Kabir. Kabir was one of the a perfect master from northern India. Are you looking for me? I'm in the next seat. My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in mosque or temple or cathedral. When you look for me, you will see me instantly. You will find me in the most humble dwelling, this very moment. You understand that, Cliff? That makes some sense?
Can you read that again?
Yeah. Are you looking for me? I'm in the next seat, right beside you. My shoulder is against yours. See, look at Cliff. You see? My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in mosque or temple or cathedral. When you look for me, you will see me instantly. You will find me in the most humble dwelling, this very moment.
Mm. Beautiful. That's God.
Yeah. It's all in this moment. Anybody have anything that anything to share? Oh, we got Ferris Day. We got Hafiz. Uh-oh.
Where is she?
I see her down on the screen.
Oh, there
Hey,
you go.
can we have a couple of Hafizes?
Jeff, I have good news.
Uh-huh.
I'm this close to publishing something,
Oh, good.
but
I
it's
wanna
not
help-
off as yet.
I want to help. Oh, hey, here's what. So each one should think of something they want an answer to, right? Some question that they direct toward Hafiz, right? Before you read it, isn't that kind of some of the and then the answer is Hafiz is the answer. Am I right about that?
Hafez is always the answer.
But I know other people have said that you kind of put before the Lord some question, and then you open it, and then you see what
Yeah.
Hafiz has to say.
That's the idea.
So let me think. I'm going to think of something here.
She's Konamino. Damo.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to open the fall?
Well, you can read anything you want.
All right, let's see. Maybe I should read like the last one I've translated.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Okay.
It was really long. Let's see, not that one. I'm still midway on that one. Oh, Baba. So how's everyone?
We're doing okay, I think. We're still above ground.
Well, that's a good place to be.
Yeah. They haven't put us 6 feet under yet.
Oh, I think I read you this one, didn't I? About the ark that your playful brow tossed into the arrow?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you read that. I read that one.
Yeah.
So let me read the one before. Or something. I'm sorry, it's not so. Let's do 94. What does it say?
Your question is very difficult, I guess.
All right, well, maybe I've read it to you, but who knows? You know what I need to do is I need to put a tick mark next to Ghazal read to Jeff.
No, it doesn't matter. You can read them again and again. No problem.
I know, but I kind of would like to entice you with new things once in a while. Okay, from the intensity of desire for you, we have lost our desire for sleep. It is not, religiously speaking, it is not proper to bow down to anything but the dust of your alley. Around your languid eyes, no one has seen a sober one. Show me an eye who has not been ruined from imagining your eyes. Whomever I observe is afflicted with a sadness. I have not seen a heart which has not been, your favorite word, kebabbed from your love. Whomever is slain with the razor of your love on doomsday, at the threshold beyond death, there is no question and answer for him. Hafez, like gold, fell into the bush and caught on fire. One is not a true lover unless he glows like fire.
Mm-hmm. Like the burning bush of Moses.
Yes, that's probably the illusion. And
if you can throw a little light in the direction of Betty, she has no power.
No power at all?
Betty and Dave, yeah.
It's been like 11 days.
Yeah, wow. 11 days. Incredible.
What kindness and mercy was it that suddenly from the secretions of your pen, you inscribed the compensation for our service and bestowed your grace? You have sent me a greeting from the tip of your pen. Without your writing, the factory of the universe would not exist. I am not going to say that you remembered me by mistake, for in wisdom's account, there are no mistakes. Do not curse me for being grateful for your gift. Your mercy is eternal and enduring. Come so I may make a pact with your hair, that even if I lose my head, I will not take it off your feet. Your heart will become aware of our condition only when tulips grow in the soil of your grief-martyred lovers. Quench the thirst of our soul with a sip. Your eternal life-giving jug gives the purest wine. The breeze divulges tales of your beauty to each rose. When did the adversary allow a tattletale into your sanctuary? My heart is stationed at your door. Please honor it. It is the same spirit of gratitude that God has honored you. May you always be merciful, O breath of Christ. Your breath renews the spirit of all tired-hearted lovers. From your hiding spot, your aim is swift and precise, O Hafez. Be careful to not raise any dust from the highway of your non-existence.
Raise any dust from the highway of your non-existence. Whew. Thank you. Keep at it.
Yeah.
I can't wait until you get all this in print.
Well, it's only going to have to get better. I'm not happy with it.
Oh, just keep at it.
Yeah.
It's the best. I've got all these Hafiz books, and I flip them open, and I just don't quite know what's being said. Really.
I see Betty.
Yeah, Betty.
Oh, hi, Betty.
Hi. We're in the dark ages.
Well, it's the dark before the light,
That's
before
right.
dawn.
I think
You
tomorrow.
you may
today-
see the real light.
I got the recent glow and opened it. And I was so impressed with it's called Merwan's Early Discourses. It's way early, young Merwan. It must have been, Manzili meme time. And it's compiled by Bailey, his scallywag friend.
Yeah.
Did anybody else notice that?
Yeah, it's
In the
even
globe?
even before Manzili Meme. This was back
Really?
before he even began his mission. As far as I could understand,
Ah,
the things
I
that
get
Baba was saying even before he became a master, you might say.
yeah. He said Merwan gave spontaneous discourses and Bailey recorded them. I mean, I've heard nothing about Bailey except what a miscreant he was. But he spent time with Upasni, and it's kind of a revelation to me that he was a rather spiritual guy. He stayed with
Yeah.
Upasni as well. Anyway, so I could read if you'd like, some of this. There are 2 discourses here. What do
Yeah,
you say?
read one of the discourses.
Okay. So I'll have to shift the light here. One discourse Merwan gave in the very early days of his spiritual perfection was about religion. He said, basically, religion is one, and the source from which this religion has come into being is continuous, despite the lapse of ages. But several branches have come forth from this one religion, like the Zoroastrian, Hindu, and Muslim religions. For example, water from the tap fills different pots for different uses, like washing, cooking, and drinking. The source, water, is the same. Similarly, all religions, though they are different in their tenets, usages, and customs, are known as the Hindu, Muslim, or Zoroastrian religions, spring from the same source. The Zoroastrians consider their religion as very old and lasting and take their first prophet as Mahabad and the last as Zoroaster. The Muslims also believe their religion to be the oldest. The last prophet of this religion was Prophet Muhammad, who existed 1300 years ago. In the same way, the Hindus also believe their religion to be the one from the source. In reality, religion is one. The Hindus call their religion Aryan, the Muslims Mahavid, and the Zoroastrians Mazdayasni. This one religion has been given various aspects and shown a variety of ways by their God-realized avatars. Prophet Muhammad is said to have brought his religion, Mahavid, to its zenith. So also the Hindu avatar Krishna has brought his religion to the highest point, as declared in the Gita. Just go a little more here. Similarly, the Mazdayasni religion, Zoroaster, perfected in the same way. Thus, the ancient Mazdayasni religion consists of tenets that later manifest in both the Hindu and Muslim religions. I thought it was so different. It was just fresh, wonderful, wow, wisdom and it makes you realize how God is eternal. He's always been and always will be. Wow.
Yeah, I like that very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought that I would. There were a couple of people that were very prominent in the West, for especially for the young people, and they figured beautifully into Baba's life. And most of you probably never met them. Fred and Ella Winterfelt.
Mm-hmm.
I know Michael has, but I bet, and probably Meph has met Fred and Ella. Let me just see if anybody else. Oh yeah, Marge, Marge Cucci and Jack Burke have met. But anyway, Fred and Ella Winterfelt were
I
this
met 'em
darling
too.
couple. I mean, they back in 1947, when Elizabeth and Norina left New York, there was a Monday night group, and Baba wanted somebody to be the head of the Monday night group, and a lot of names were given to Baba, submitted to Baba, and Baba said that he wanted a couple, and eventually Fred and Ella's names were sent to Baba, and they had not even met Baba. But as soon as those names came, Baba said, "That's the couple I want." And so they were the ones who were, who were perfect for, especially for all the young people that came years later, because they were like your parents, but they were not possessive or dictatorial. Very understanding and supportive. Beautiful couple. And but I wanted to tell you one of the stories, how intimate Baba figures into the lives of his close ones. And this is what happened. They've been with Baba for a long time, and in 1961, Baba said that he said that people from the West could come and visit him for 1 hour. And so there were a number of people, not too many, but a number of people who took advantage of that. And Fred and Ella Winterfeld were two, and Fred quickly bought a couple of tickets, plane tickets. He got everything ready. But Ella was the one who distributed the family letters that Mani sent from Marizad, and she distributed them throughout America. And Ella was very kind of dutiful, and she felt that her duty was to make sure that these letters went out. And so she used to be a bit stubborn, and she refused to go. Now Fred said, "No, you have to come." He begged her to come. He even kept the tickets, still her ticket available, up to the last moment, begging her to come. Let's go see Baba. Mush, mush. They were both from Germany. Mush. You have to come. We have to go see Baba. And she didn't at the last moment, and so Fred took the plane, and he got over there. And Ella went to distributing these letters and mailing them out, but she felt a horrendous remorse that she had made a complete mistake. She put this service to Baba over actually being with him, and she felt terrible. Now Fred gets to India, and Baba's at Guru Prasad, and on about the second day, they're in the hall, and there are hundreds of people there. And at one point, Baba singles out Fred and said, "Fred, where's Ella?" And Ella says, and Fred says, "But Baba, I tried to get her to come, but she wouldn't come." And Fred said, "Why didn't you bring her? That was your responsibility." And he says, "I did. I had to tick it up to the last moment, and she wouldn't come. She refused." And Baba said, "No, you should have brought her." And Fred said that he had his hands behind his back, and his hands were shaking. I mean, he was trembling there in front of Baba, and so embarrassed and humiliated in front of all these people. And he's, and Baba, and he's displeasing his beloved. And Baba is like really coming strongly at him. And Baba went at him, and eventually Fred, in his anxiety and shaking, said, "It's your fault, Baba." And Baba just beamed and made a perfect sign. And then Baba wrote out a cable right on the spot. Fred is here. Fred may be here with me, but I am there with you, Ella. And that cable was sent off. Now, Fred didn't realize at that very moment when the cable arrived there, Ella was so remorseful that she was about to jump out the window high up of this apartment building where they lived. And that cable came just in time and prevented her from doing that. And Fred used to say that Baba used that energy and his love for Ella and all that to save her from a distance. But look at how Baba is there in India, and he knows that very moment what is happening, going on in Ella's mind. And these are the kinds of things that Baba did in so many circumstances with his close ones. I'll tell you, this is kind of a little more off the. This doesn't have to do with Baba per se, you might say, but Fred Winterfelt, he was like a baron. He was like a very distinguished person in Germany. This is back in the 20s, and he fought World War I on the side of the Germans. He was an engineer, and World War II on the side of the Allies. And because he moved to to America in the 1930. So because he was German, he was stationed in the Pacific Theater, because they didn't want Germans there, you know, on the Western Front. He was there in the Pacific, and he was stationed where he worked as an engineer in what's that island north of the country north of Australia? Not Borneo.
Papua New Guinea?
New Guinea, right. Good. I forgot. So one day, Fred and this Australian guy decided to explore the coast of New Guinea. And so they headed down the coast. They didn't have any weapons or anything. There's no war zone or anything. And so they went way down, away from their base camp. And at one point, they looked up, and behind them, there were all these natives coming out of the forest. And they would take a step. I mean, there were maybe 50 of them, and they would take a step and they would stop. And they'd take another step and they'd stop. And they were closing in on them very silently, menacingly. And they were completely trapped on all sides. They were coming at them. And when they got about 15 feet away, this Australian guy took out his false teeth and started going like this. And they just took a step, and they slowly went back into the forest. And they were saved. Otherwise, we wouldn't have ever met Fred Winterfelt. Those false teeth. Yeah, kind of far out. In a bit, we'll have Michael read some poems. I'm going to see if I can think of something, another thing from Fred and Ella. They were really darling people. One time, Fred was going to drive Baba from the guest house over to his house on the center. And Baba said, "Are you sure you know the way?" "Oh, Baba, I know the way and everything like that." And he took off and driving, and the road came to a dead end. Stopped at this woods. And Fred said, Baba looks at him, and Fred says, "Someone has planted some trees since we were last here." And Baba got a kick out of that. And he told me one time he drove Baba down to Brookgreen Gardens, which is about a half hour south of Myrtle Beach. It's a beautiful sculptured garden. And Fred was driving, and Baba in the back seat put his foot, I think he put his foot on his shoulder, and Fred began singing verses from the Bhagavad Gita, some Hindi text. He didn't know the language or anything, and he just started singing. It was just kind of pretty far out. And Fred was a little bit psychic, and when he was in New York, he was walking down the street one time. This is in about 1932 or something. He saw a woman's legs swing out of a taxi, and he saw those legs, and he knew that was the woman that he was going to marry. And eventually approached her, and that turned out to be Ella Winterfelt, who was also turned out to be German. So but he kind of knew the sight of her, recognized her legs coming out of a taxi cab. And I'll tell you one more story. Fred, he was, like I say, he was a bit psychic before Baba. And he used to go on these astral travel. He'd travel all over around the globe. But one time, now he had a very prestigious job as the superintendent of one of these fancy apartment complexes on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I mean, this is a very posh area, and he's very prominent person. And so anyway, he goes on this astral journey. When he comes back, somebody is inhabiting his body, and he can't get back in. And that guy proceeds to go on a drunken binge, but it's Fred's body. And so he's just drinking like crazy, and Ella is like, "Fred, what are you doing, Fred?" And he's like acting like crazy, and he's drunk at the hotel, at the apartment complex. And he proceeds to go drinking for 3 straight days, day and night. This guy completely, and the moment he passes out, Fred is able to get back into his body. But of course, all the abuse that this guy had put his body through, and the hangover and everything, then he had to experience that. And that was the last time he ever did any astral traveling. Anyway, well, go ahead.
Sorry. I just wonder if you know the story of how after seeing Ella's legs, what was the rest of the story? The courtship and all that?
I don't know. I talked to Phyllis Frederick. Don't know how he followed up on that, but he must have followed her up on the spot. He must have tracked her down, because he wouldn't have been able to ever find her again.
Wow.
Well, I have a story about him.
Yeah. Michael was back there in the early days in Myrtle Beach.
Well, actually, Fred and Ella were one of my first contacts after I found out about Baba, which is February 1st, the day after Baba passed. And I first heard about it at the Saturday night group led by Harry Kenmore. And then I went to the Monday night group, and I really much preferred it because it was so warm and friendly. And Fred and I became friends. So when they moved down to Myrtle Beach, I had moved there with my wife and baby, and I had a woodworking shop, and of course we were poor as church mice, and he let me use the car that he had driven Baba around after the '52 accident, and so that became our personal car. It was a '49 Chevrolet with a standard transmission, and used toilet paper for an oil filter. It was quite a project. And the damp weather, the salt air began to corrode it so that the floor panels rotted out and the car started to, sides began to rot out. And he said I couldn't sell it. I had to give it back to him. So after a year or so, I did give it back to him. But it was such an honor to be in that car and to have, Fred trust me with it. And when I was going through a separation and divorce with my wife, I was feeling very, very sad. And he looked at me and he told me that, Michael, you have the eyes of a mystic. And as if he understood all the sadness and passion and all my tears. It was just amazing to be understood by him like that. So those are my last memories of Fred and Ella. Ella was like a little bird, a sparrow. You could just see her pecking at food. She was so thin. Beautiful couple.
Yeah. Baba said she was actually an angel, Ella.
I believe
My
it.
Ella has come back with me, Baba would say. Yeah. No, that was darling couple. Maybe, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I know Michael hasn't heard this, but Elizabeth and Kitty had me go stay up at the back of the gateway, the old gateway, and they lived in Pine Lodge. And I would look in on them because Fred, he got pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
And he tried all different things. He tried Laetrile, he went to Mexico, he went all these different things, hoping that Bob would help him, with this cancer. And he had the experience, he told me, in the early morning, this is before he got the cancer and had all of the treatment, but in the early morning, he would sit down in his chair and Baba would appear in the chair next to him. And he would bring up the problems of various people in the nearby community. And he would consult Baba about how they were doing and what he might be able to say. He had this intimate time with Baba. But when this cancer got worse, he was not able to have those morning interviews with Baba. And he was stricken. And he felt Baba was not helping him. He was in tremendous pain. And sometimes he'd have to take morphine. And the morphine would make it, he would have hallucinations and he would lose that intimacy. So he would just get off of the morphine and bear the pain as much as he could, because he could still have that see Baba when he was in pain. And so I used to go up there after work and massage his legs very vigorously to kind of take his mind off of the pain. And so that was kind of my routine. But he felt like Baba had not helped him. He had begged and prayed to Baba. He lost so many intimate things with Baba, and he had to be honest. He felt Baba had let him down. And so one day I went there after work, and I could hear him moaning in pain from inside. He was on the sofa that Baba sat on when he was with them. And I poked my head in the door, and and you know, I felt like this might be, you know, too intimate, and to let them be, but he kind of waved me in, and he was sitting there with Ella beside him on the sofa, and he put his hand up, and he said, "Love alone prevails." And as I was going out, he got my attention again. He said, again, I say, "Love alone prevails." And what he was saying is that he came to that place where he knew that this pain and suffering was his beloved. He came to that profound realization that this pain, don't say that my beloved is ignoring me. This pain and suffering is my beloved. That's the last thing he said to me as I was going out the door. And then I went over to Kitty to report at the end of the day. Kitty asked me how Fred was doing. I report to her, and I told her this story, and then I said, him holding his hand up and saying, "Love alone prevails." And she was working on her book at that time and everything, and that became the title of her book, "Love Alone Prevails." But that's from Fred.
I have
Our
one
dear
more
Fred.
story.
Huh?
One more story, a really important story to tell. Fred told me that he was talking to Baba, and he asked him in this about the Great Destruction. He said, "Would it be man-made or natural causes?" Baba said, "Both. There is no place to go that's safe. What you have to do is, if you're going to be saved, it's through the grace of God only. So think of others." And that has made a profound impression on me, because we live in an age of fear that this pandemic killer, is just right around the corner. We don't know where it's lurking, and we could drive ourselves crazy thinking about, oh, this is our last moments. Should I go out? Should I do this? Living under the power of fear. But it's so releasing for me to realize that I'm not going to go into Baba's will. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's been quite a consolation. And that quote of Fred's just rings through my ears, how important it is. And Christ said the father would be against son, and son would be set against daughter, and all hell was going to break loose, and it sure has, and it's just the beginning. So,
And Fred, and what you're referring to, Fred asked Baba, should I go to the mountains? And Baba said, no, just stay where you are. In other words, there's no place to go to. And because Fred thought, well, yeah, maybe there's a safe place up in the mountains somewhere. But anyway, Michael, have you got a poem there?
Well, I've got the 26 offhand.
Uh-huh. Well, let's hear a couple.
All right. This one's about AIDS. It's about Ward 5, which was a ward that Elizabeth Taylor financed.
Ward 5?
Yeah, in the General Hospital, San Francisco General Hospital.
For AIDS patients? For AIDS patients? Yeah.
It is in Ward 5 where Paul is dying with tubes running up his nose to give the extra oxygen his lungs cannot afford him. Talking of his father, his childhood, somewhere in the Midwest. Every time he speaks, he takes off his oxygen mask, gasping, faintly rasping, etches the story of his life, of being afraid to tell his dad of him being gay, his family ashamed to visit him as he withers in the ward. stricken by a disease that stigmatizes them with failure. How can you forgive a child who has made you so wrong, who lets all the world know that you have failed as parents? Best to disown the child and let him die forgotten, and reach out past the prison in our minds that keeps us from each other and from simply loving. And so Paul languishes in his bed, feebly reiterating the outlines of his life before he shifted to the final ward, while a group of dedicated people catered delicious meals, served by a woman dressed as a French maid in mesh stockings, to people slowly dying, ebbing, drifting towards an end that inexorably closes over them like dried flowers in a book. Paul is gone, like Gordon, David, Richard, Gary, Thomas, Charles, and Bruce. Gone to see death's ferry, to catch a glimpse of you as you wait for them in all your glory.
Beautiful.
Guzzle you. My clock has numbers and no hands. No longer is it about 10 o'clock. It is exactly 10:10. Does this really matter? At this very moment, time is slow. In 1/2 hour, there'll be a split-second race to be on time to something soon forgotten. Lord, when I contemplate your you-ness, how else can I describe the indescribable? Time is non-existent. It is a leisurely evening spent absorbing the smells of trees and grass and flowers, awestruck by the sunset, laughing at children playing, lost in conversations that lovers have who never seem to say enough to satisfy each other. The picture fades and crumbles. Hurry, Michael, you'll be late, and swept up by time's torrent, disappears in guilt for wasting precious seconds that could have been more useful. Lord, is it time to leave, or is it time to stay? Someday, when it pleases you, may I stay forever?
Can you read that last sentence again? I missed it.
Just because I swallowed my words? Okay. Someday, when it pleases you, may I stay forever?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. One more.
Okay. Let's see. This is for working people. Working, I mean craftsmen. Because I used to be a printing pressman. Clinking, clanging, chug, chug, chugging, clump along, wrinkle, tinkle, ping and patter, sounds of grease and metal, rolling round and round and round and clanging my whole day for $85 weekly, and for the honor of being subjected to my boss's abuse and jeers. You think you're smart, but you're a jerk. Don't write your music on the job and I'll dock you if you're late. Clinking, clanging, chug, chug, chugging, the paper sheets keep coming, check the color and its depth, check to make sure it's perfect. Make sure that we get paid to to perfectly print a piece of paper whose destiny is garbage. I admitted, Lord, that I liked the work, even though I felt oppressed. The camaraderie, the vulgar jokes, the discipline of mastering expensive monsters, metal monsters that did not allow for slackness, being a part of the machinery of society. Lord, even in those unpainted, stifling rooms filled with dust and chemicals, the filthy toilets, the heat and squalor, the sweat pouring off our brows, I found you in the hearts of those who gave themselves to their loved ones, living simple lives. Thanks for teaching me to be a craftsman and to disregard the clothes that cover us, to see the soul within.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Stay Bob.
Thank you. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah. Very, a lot of love in those. Let's see. I wanted to find out from Steve Jacobs. Are you there?
Hi, Jeff. Jay Baba.
Hey, I haven't seen you in ages.
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where are you living now?
I'm in Tucson.
Oh, Tucson. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't Meth live in Tucson or no, or?
Margaret is up in upstate New York, and she also has a place in Brooklyn now. She's been recording a new CD. And Julian is in his final class at Oberlin. He'll graduate in April.
Yeah, I saw Julian a couple of days back on Zoom.
Yes, I did too. When Margaret was, in the Margaret Krask celebration.
Yeah, yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Julian's been a great kid. I have really enjoyed him over the years. He's stayed very focused on Baba and come to the youth Sahavas and helped out, and really good athlete and musician. He's a wonderful kid.
Yes, he is. Thank you very much.
Probably more than a kid now.
He's 24.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just checking around. I'll tell you, I'm a little bit out of mood today because I was speaking about somebody and I was kind of borderline backbiting. and I'm going to be called on it.
Backbite.
What's that?
How do you borderline backbite?
I thought I was telling I was revealing the facts, but so I and the person, some of the persons concerned want to get together on Saturday. So I got to give this to Baba, because in a way, I mean, I don't know what hell I'm going to catch, but I usually try to be kind of a little more careful. So don't backbite. It just it disturbs. I mean, I felt it very deeply within, like a kind of deep anxiety. Like, oh man, I went outside the I went off the freeway down in the shoulder. So I just have to say that because although just being here, I feel so much better. I mean, being with you and hearing Michael's, poems and everything, it's amazing what it can do. But I usually am very careful, but I was not as careful. I was kind of warning somebody about somebody else, and so pray for me.
You're doomed.
Yep, I've had it. I'm going to be
Thursday for some of her
You
poetry.
were doing public service, it seems.
What's that?
Maybe
Well, I don't.
Doing public service.
Yeah.
You know that Ferris Day is a poet.
Yeah, Ferris Day. She's read 2 of Hafiz already. Can you read one more Hafiz?
Well, Michael has him and I have shared some poems on a ride from, gosh, where was it? LA to Phoenix, or?
No, it was from the center to Chicago.
Oh, really? Yes, that was a nice long trip.
And she paid for my son's trip to India, which was very sweet of her.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I forgot about that. How's he doing?
He's doing much. He's doing well.
That's awesome.
Let me see how Payam's doing. Oh.
That's funny. I just sent you a chat.
I
Oh,
was thinking this is why we have the repentance prayer.
I know.
Jeff, hey, we can't say it enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say it for the next few days.
Yes.
As you know, I
What
told you
can we
one time.
do?
I tell you, one time the Alaba told me that Baba had asked him to do something, and he neglected to do it, and he knew that Baba was going to catch hell from Baba. And so what he did that whole evening is he prayed for forgiveness, and he spent the whole evening and night praying for forgiveness. And so the next day when he saw Baba among the mandali, Baba didn't say anything
Wow.
because he had been forgiven.
There you go.
I mean, he felt what, his mistake,
Mm-hmm.
and he felt the remorse. And I once asked Erich, what was Baba's forgiveness like? How did you experience Baba's forgiveness? And Erich said, when you do something selfish and unkind, when people do that, they go before God and they persist and pray until they feel relieved of that. But he said with Baba, when you do something selfish and unkind, the remorse that you feel for having done that is the sign that you've already been forgiven.
Oh, Jay Baba.
Jeff,
And if it's justified, it's hard to. Justification kind of cancels out the remorse.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify something and feel remorse at the same time. Oh, but anyway, so I have my homework. I have my inner homework to do with Baba on this. I was a little bit off track there. I hit the wrong note.
Jeff, but you told it's like you are warning for about other person, right? So basically, you were thinking of good of other person. I mean, not
Yeah,
the intent was not to tell something
yeah.
wrong.
There's still something. The fact that I'm feeling it, there was a wrong note that I hit in the process. I hit a few good notes and I hit some bad notes. Maybe a bad chord or something.
But Jeff, this is Janet. What I'm picking up is a feeling of remorse.
Yeah, I do feel, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping, because I could feel that my face would just flush. I could feel my being.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that remorse is what, don't you think that remorse is what Baba connects within us? I'm not saying all is well and forget about it or whatever you want to write about, but that remorse is a guide for us, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, no, I've got that. I've got to just be a little more careful.
Jeff,
Yeah.
what's really difficult is apologizing to the people that you have hurt.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's what but that person won't be there. That's the thing. And but I know what you mean, and I am prepared to, to say that I, was out of line.
Well, let me tell you a little story.
Yeah.
I was refinishing a piano in Mill Valley and driving up and down between Mill Valley and another town. And I kept on passing a doctor's office where I had built some furniture, and I liked the doctor who had hired me, and she gave me some advice about David, and he said something that really, when I mentioned it to her at the time, and we're talking about 2005, I could tell that I'd hurt her feelings. So every time I went down the highway to where I was working, I'd think about her. I'd say, I have got to call her up and make an apology. And I was there 3 months, and I never made the apology. And I would be working in the shop or doing something, and I'd think of her and I'd say, I had to make that apology, and I just didn't do it. Even though I know better and I'm enlightened, et cetera, et cetera. So finally I burnt my hand on a pot in the oven. It stayed in the oven, I grabbed the handle, and the pain was so excruciating that I said to myself, you don't fuck up like this unless there's an apology that you haven't made, so make the damn apology. Okay, so just the other day I wrote her a letter and I apologized for my part in letting my son, repeating what my son had said and hurting her feelings all these years, which is now, what, 20 years?
Yeah.
25 years? Maybe less, 15, my math isn't that good.
Yeah.
And she wrote back saying, oh, good to hear from you again. I've forgotten what you said.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the incident, and we reconnected and became friends again.
Yeah.
All these years I was punishing myself over this statement, and it was so, in a sense, so small. It seemed so small, so inconsequential, but it was enough for me to burn myself. And if you want to keep, for me, if you want to keep the flame of love alive, you have to be really scrupulous about these apologies. Clean up all the dirt, because it's all the dirt that gets in that mirror where you can't see your real self anymore. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
Beautiful.
I'm
No.
sticking with it.
Oh,
No.
yeah, very.
Yeah.
I have a short little poem for you, Jeff.
Okay.
And it's kind of touches on this a little bit. Is it a choice? Is it a choice or is it grace when all is finally forgiven and forgotten? And you set sail inside the dome of love. My slowly wrinkling hands hold on more tightly to your daman as I let go of knowing what yesterday was or what tomorrow brings.
Beautiful.
That's one of yours, right?
Yeah, read it again.
Is it a choice or is it grace when all is finally forgiven and forgotten? And you set sail inside the dome of love. My slowly wrinkling hands hold on more tightly to your body as I let go of knowing what yesterday was and what tomorrow brings.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that figure, the dome of love.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, we're going to get drunk on wine.
Let's see who we got.
We should have
Sham,
more.
any word from you, Sham? He's from the Punjab. Oh,
I only listen and enjoy.
say that again.
I am only listening and enjoying.
Oh, good.
Not possible to speak.
Have you done some things that you weren't happy about?
Nothing special. Okay, I speak a little one quote. It's from Anastasia. She's a Russian saint. She was not now. The energy of love activates a whole complex of feelings in man. It accelerates the mental processes. This energy enhances effects of inspiration, which predisposes a series of grand acts to follow. Energy of love and sexual attraction helps in creation of a space for future life together. A single creator inspired by love is stronger than all the sciences combined, which are deprived of you. Yeah, Baba.
Jai Baba. Yeah.
Understand or not yet?
It's a little the audio is a little bit problematic.
Is he too away from the mic? Too far away from the microphone?
You might be too far away from the mic.
Maybe. I should repeat or it's okay?
Yeah, read it again, but come a little closer. Yeah.
The energy of love.
Yeah, good.
Activates the whole complex of feelings in man. It accelerates the mental processes. This energy enhances effects of inspiration, which presupposes a series of grand acts to follow. Energy of love and sexual attraction helps in creation of a space for future life together. A single creator inspired by love is stronger than all the sciences combined, which are deprived of love.
Yeah, we can hear that better. Yeah. Hey, Diane and Terry have shown up.
Look what the cat brought in.
What do you have? Anything? Anything?
We're just at. Hi, Michael.
Hi there, Diane.
Yeah.
Hi, Terry.
Um,
Poetry.
hi, everybody.
Poetry.
Yeah.
We were just at another Baba group, and they were showing some incredible videos for his birthday.
Uh-huh.
Very inspirational. We were at. I had a picture of me at Baba's house in Pune on his birthday in 2013.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We've all been there.
A younger man then.
Yeah. Hey, so have you had any thoughts in the past several days? Anything that came to you? Any flashes from the eternal? Yeah, anything?
Was that to us or to the entire collective?
What's that?
Was that to us or to the entire collective?
Well, to you. Yeah, to you too.
Shoot, go answer, Jerry.
No, you don't have to, just in case something.
I actually have something that has, it's just a very sweet story. So Diane and I went for our second COVID vaccines, and we're driving there, and for very different reasons, we both had anxiety. And in front of us pulls a car, and its license plate said GOD 5, but it looked like an S, and then way, God's way.
And we followed it.
We thought, well, we were driving in the same direction, obviously, as they were going. And so we had God's way all the way to the place almost where we got the vaccines.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it all worked out really well. Diane was afraid they wouldn't give her hers, and she was freaking out, and and I wasn't afraid of that. I was afraid of the reaction.
Yeah.
And we lived through it all.
Yeah, so good. 2 vaccines. That's
number 2.
Well, I had reason to fear. I wasn't in their system for some reason all of a sudden. But I prayed.
I wasn't saying you didn't have a reason.
There was a woman, one of the caretakers at the center, and she was driving and feeling like Baba's just wrecking her life and making things difficult and everything like that. And, Baba, what are you doing to me and everything? And she sees the car, a van in front of her that has a sticker, the Grateful Dead. She says, oh, okay. The Grateful Dead, Hey, Shraddha. Anything that comes up with you?
Jai Baba Jeff. I've been reading the latest Padri's book.
Oh yeah.
I did not meet Padri Kaka, and of course, it seems like he was quite a personality. Always had some or the other foul word ready for someone or the other.
Yeah. He was. Yeah, the title of that is "It Takes Time, Mister." It's I'll tell you. I'll give you a flavor of Padre. You know, Bob. Bao used to kind of give this figure, but he may have gotten it from Bob. But there are three types of personalities, people. One is a peach. It's soft on the outside, but it's got a pit in the middle. Then there is like a nut that's hard on the outside and soft in the middle. And then there's a grape that's soft on the outside and soft on the inside. That's kind of more like Erich, you might say, or money. Yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you. So this guy travels overland to India through Afghanistan and Iraq and everything, and he arrives at Lower Mehrabad all disheveled, and you know his clothes are filthy, and you know he kind of staggers in, and he says, "Where's the tomb of the Avatar?" And so a friend of mine, his name is Tom Fortson, said, "Well, it's up the hill there, you know." And so the guy starts up, but then Tom feels, well, he should probably accompany the guy. So they're walking up the hill to Baba's tomb, and they get about halfway up, and Padre is coming down the other way, and he's like, you know, he's like an El Greco painting. I mean, he's like lean and the embodiment of of masculinity. And when they get within about 15 feet of him, Padre says, "Is this the way you dress when you go to the tomb of the Avatar?" And the guy says, "I don't let anybody tell me how I dress when I go to the tomb of the Avatar." Padre looks over at Tom Fortson and says, "I like this guy." So there he is, you know, hard on the outside and soft in the middle.
Yeah, that exactly resonates with what each of these chapters are kind of trying to tell about Padri. One thing that struck me, and I did not know about this, was do you know something about Meherji Satha, Erich's uncle?
Yeah.
I think his samadhi is at Lower Mehrabad too, I think. His grave.
I don't know if Meherji, I don't know if he's down there.
So apparently there's a mention in one of the chapters here.
What does it say?
Baba had kind of given him an order to kind of keep a watch over the tomb, even after he passed away.
Huh.
So the chapter reads, so I'll read this little bit from the book, and I didn't quite get what was going on here. So this was written by, I think, Erico and a bunch of people who gathered stories from Padri. I think that also includes Ted, Janet, Judson, and a bunch of other people. One of the chapters says there was Erico was keeping a watch near the Samadhi, and so he was sleeping near the night watchman. I think one of the guys who was always giving a night watch, Maruti. His name was Maruti. So it reads, "My torch and stick in hand, I went out into the night. It was peaceful and calm. No one there. I made a slow and careful circuit of the tomb, then the grounds outside the hill compound. While passing outside the southern wall, there were more sounds, heavy treads, like a big elephant's footsteps, that shook the earth. Then all the water taps turning on and off. I rushed into the compound, and again, no one. I went over to the other watchman's cabin. Maruti normally was asleep until midnight. I hesitated to wake him, so I instead illuminated the inside of his cabin, expecting to find him snoring, and saw him sitting bolt upright, axe in hand, white as sheet. His complexion was normally dusky, so he was scared. Don't open the door. I'm not coming out. It's a giant. Did you see it? I asked. Oh, yes, big and black. I had only heard it, so I took another round inside the compound. Again, slowly, heavy footfalls shook the ground, but I saw nothing. The rest of the night was quiet. At early morning tea, I started to relate all this to Padri, who interrupted to say, You mean you have not heard? Don't you know that Meherji Mama, one of Erich's uncle, Meherji Satha, who lived in Ahmednagar, conked out about that time last night? Baba told us that he had given duty there on the hill to the king of ghosts. That must have been him. Irritated that Sata Sahib has been liberated and not him, trying to attract your attention so you would intercede on his behalf with Baba. We will go have a look at Meherji Mama after my second installment of Chaha tea. Mama was a lovely, wonderful, luminous old man. While working in Shanghai, he wrote to his sister Gaimai, Erich's mom, suggesting that she visit Baba. All the time I knew him, the 1970s, he was mostly in bed in the house at Akbar Press compound where the family resided in Ahmednagar. All around his bed, tucked between the mattress and the bed frame, was a library devoted to the lives and writings of the saints. It was obviously the same fellow I saw in the simple wooden box by the grave. But he had never looked so good. He was no longer frail, weak, and gray. He shone like a 10 million watt light bulb. It was actually hard for me to look directly at him. Padri inspected him carefully, then picked up the lid and began nailing it down on the coffin. I saw the giant clearly on another night, since I was able to see the bricks in the wall through him. I had to conclude that he wasn't there in the normal sense, but he projected an awesome physical appearance. He looked like a massive oriental warrior. His straight black hair was parted in the middle and fell down on his ears, to his ears. So he basically goes on describing this whole scenery that he saw. But then it feels like there was something mysterious happening here that we weren't aware of.
No, I know Eriko used to say that, and I think
Mansari. Padre Kaka was joking.
No, big 15-foot giant wandering around up there by the tomb.
Interesting.
No, that's what Eriko said, and Padre used to say, oh yeah, basically I've seen that before. No big deal.
Wow.
But yeah, Meherji Mama was a wonderful. He lived to 100 years old.
Wow.
Erich's family, yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Hey, well, let's see. Let's see with Dinku. Anything there? Oh, Anita. Oh, hey, Anita.
Hi.
Good.
How are you?
Is your child in bed and?
Yeah, it was a bit later tonight.
And your husband is preoccupied somewhere? Or?
He's sick, so he's gone to bed early too. Yeah, we've all had colds. Not COVID, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you know? Let's see. Is Marinaz here? Oh, she has slipped out. Yeah. Yeah. So when did you come on?
Just after 8.
Oh.
Or I guess 11 for you guys.
Okay, 11, yeah.
I liked, I was listening to one of your previous chats talking about Darwin's recounting his experience and having like life unfold. Like, you know, you talked about how just like you breathe in and out
Yeah.
without thinking. And so that's been something I've been starting to just try to be a little more aware of throughout the day. It's like I'm noticing more that I like when my mind is trying to make things go a certain way, like it's a subconscious thing, but your mind's constantly like, okay, I want to do this thing and that thing, and it's all desire based. And then just taking moments to pause and say, oh wait, I don't have to make things go a certain way. I can just let life unfold and be in the present with Baba. And it just like, yeah, takes a bit of a load and that pressure off. And it's really nice. I mean, I wish I could do that all the time or have it be that way all the time. But yeah, I really liked what you shared there.
Yeah, that was, yeah, he reached a point where, yeah, things were just flowing, and, you know, he just kind of went with the nice flow, and all of the things that we like, things that, oh, don't do that, that shouldn't happen, and all that, all that was, he said, had a thing, what was the line? Something like, let life do what it's going to do, and just stay focused on Baba. I mean, the amazing thing is that we think that it would be like a puppet saying, hey, look at, I'm raising my hand, see that, I'm moving here, like that. We think that we're doing all this thing, but it's actually, there's a puppeteer that's doing all this. But we say, oh, I'm going to go over here, I made the decision to go over here. But if you took yourself out of it, you would still go over there. In other words, I mean, this is, you know, it seems kind of crazy, but your sanskaras can live your life. You don't need to be in there telling them what to do. I mean, if you can let go and drop back into love, it flows beautifully.
I know, and it takes like, it just, yeah, frees up your consciousness. Like otherwise you can't, I don't know, you just get caught up and stuck in your mind and you're ruminating constantly. And that's what mindfulness is about too. I mean, it's all Baba anyways, but it's yeah, he is, that's the idea of mindfulness. And when I realized that, because like in my schooling and stuff, like you learn about cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, all this stuff, and then when I read Effort and Grace, and I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly that. And I'm like, wait, it's because it is all Baba, and it makes so much sense. It's really cool.
Yeah, and Darwin used to use the expression heartfulness rather than mindfulness. Heartfulness.
Oh, nice.
If you can remain, if you can remain in your heart, things flow nicely. You know.
Definitely.
I mean, to be up in the mind is like looking at through the binoculars turned around the wrong way. Everything is much smaller, but when you see life through the heart, it's like everything is up close and intimate.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when you can feel like you're one with everyone and you're not separate from others, and you just, yeah, you have that flow.
Yeah, what Erich, as when I was young, what Erich encouraged me to do is bring the consciousness from up here down to the heart and keep it there. You know, don't go up to the head. The head will do fine. If your heart is in the right place, your mind works beautifully. It becomes a servant. Okay. But if the mind is the master, that's, you know, and that's the case with many people, then life is tough.
Well, I find it's hard to stay in the heart. Like I know when I'm there, but it's like you just revert back to your usual, And
to stay in the heart, what I found from, you know, Erich encouraging me, you have to bear a lot of wounds and hurts and pain. That's the price. If you're going to plant your flag in the heart, there's a lot of pain involved to stay there. You know, I mean, I say if I were to insult you, it could hurt your heart, but then automatically you go up in your head and you say, oh, I better watch out for this guy. He's dangerous. Let me keep a distance. You know what I mean? We go right up into the head.
Right.
But it's very hard to stay with the hurt.
But then I guess you can give it to Baba, and then he takes the edge off
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but to be working on these things is, I think, is wonderful, and things get better and better, as far as being able to, live from the heart.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. No. Good. You know Marinaz, right?
Which Marinaz?
Marinaz Namaranian?
Yes. I'm really bad with names, but I'd recognize your face. I know that name, but I also know lots of people with that last name and first name.
It's Iraj's sister. Iraj.
Okay.
From Seattle.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's his sister. She was just on here. She must have just taken off just a little while ago.
Cool.
So you have to meet her sometime.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, well, let's have one last poem, unless anybody has anything to bring up.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Dinku. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd just like to share a little experience I had.
Good.
2 days ago.
Whoop, we lost you. She just knocked over her computer. No. Huh. She'll be back. Okay, there she is.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep losing the connection.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago when I had my yoga class, and I was doing this one thing where I had to concentrate, put all thoughts out of my mind and just concentrate between the eyebrows. And as I started doing that, I saw a little face, maybe smaller than the than 1 cent coin of Baba, and it kept morphing into different faces, throughout his life. The younger Baba, the older Baba, the middle-aged Baba, and I was so stunned by it. I mean, it was beautiful, but it was also so great and unexpected. So I just felt, Baba's letting me know that he's there.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, anything like that, that's great. Any way you can picture Baba, or any way he appears to you.
Yeah, I mean, he appeared to me. I have another class today, so I'm hoping something else happens.
Yeah. Great. No, that's yeah, I mean, to see Baba is where the infinite God and the finite world intersect. It's a rare phenomenon. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Well, you'll have to tell us. Well, maybe we'll see each other. We're going to read quotes, Baba quotes, on Baba's birthday.
Yeah.
Although that's at 3 o'clock. That's not a good time for you. 3 o'clock in the afternoon for us.
Oh, I guess I'll be asleep at that time.
Yeah, but you can get your quote. If Angela will send you a quote.
Okay.
From Baba. And Anita, you can too. I don't know how you get on, but you send it in, and the Circle of Friends will send you a Baba quote on his birthday.
So she sends it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, happy for that, Dinku.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah.
am too. It was so unexpected,
Yeah.
Just out of the blue.
You know, one time I said to Kitty Davy, when I was working, and I said, Kitty, if I'm on the center, walking around, and when I see a configuration of leaves and light and shadow, and I see Baba's face, even though I've been busy all day, it lets me know that I've been thinking of Baba, behind, my work. And she says, no, 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 no. That means Baba is thinking of you. That's even better. So there's
Yes, it
Baba.
is.
So there he is. Anytime you see an image of Baba, I mean, Kitty would say that's Baba thinking of you, not you thinking of Baba. So there he is, looking at you, joining your yoga class.
Yeah. Can I read something?
Yeah, do so,
You know,
Nasreen.
regarding to what Dinku said, I just opened a book of You and I. So this is what it opened.
Yeah.
While sitting in remembrance, keep my image before your eyes. If you do this, I will see to the rest.
Beautiful.
So Dinku should be happy, Baba will take her away from this.
Yep.
From her sanskaras.
Yeah, beautiful. Read that once again. Dinku, she found a quote for you.
Okay.
Nasreen.
Yeah.
Yes,
it
please.
says, while sitting in remembrance, keep my image before your eyes. If you do this, I will see to the rest.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
There are a couple, here a beautiful, when I was, here's something that Baba said to me way back when. When I first got into Baba and I was agonizing over what I was going to do with my future, I was nostalgic about my childhood, which had been idyllic. I was regretful of a lot of the selfish things I did in college. I was very disturbed by the Vietnam War. So I was like in a mental turmoil, real mental turmoil during that period of my life. And in the middle of this, Baba flashed this to me. In every moment, there is always something loving that can be done. That's what Baba said to me. In every moment, there's always something loving that can be done. And I was looking at my life, I was only about 10%. In every moment, I was only about 10% in the moment. Because I was energetically in the future, energetically in the past, and disapproving of the present with the Vietnam War. And so it's taken me like decades and decades to get to this moment. My longest journey in this life is to get to this moment. And there was one guy that wrote a book called Conversations with God, and this is similar to what Baba said to me. Jesus said to this gentleman, what would love do now? Ask yourself that question, and I will be with you always in all ways. What would love do now? What a beautiful, so succinct. What would love do now?
Yeah, you've mentioned that one before, and I actually say that to myself often, and I catch myself when I want to act on my sanskars and the urges there, and I'm like, wait, what would love do now? And then you just kind of oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's Neil Donald Walsh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But that really, what would love do now? I mean, you come to this moment and there's something love in what Baba said. In every moment, there's always something loving that can be done. Even trying to be loving is a form of love. Trying to overcome your impatience or your anger, even if you don't succeed, but you're trying, is love. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going through some rough patch right now.
Yeah.
With the person, and I caught myself being very low, very negative about the thing, and trying to, think a lot of negative things about this person, and go on and on in my head, in my mind. But then suddenly I like, Baba, please lift me up. Lift me up. I want to, Baba, send me the elevator.
Send you what?
The elevator. The elevator.
Oh, the elevator, yeah.
Baba, send me the elevator. I want to get out of this bottle. I want to go up with you. Take me. Because I get so sick of being negative, being like go on in my head.
Yeah.
And then Baba does that, when I do arti and I, concentrate on him and do the prayers, and he does lift me up,
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments of that he eases me up of this predicament, It's so amazing how he does this, just like that, he takes me away from that, I don't know what I would do without him, because I would probably get the phone and start yelling at this person.
Yeah.
Or go there and start yelling, throw him rocks or something like that.
Yeah, no.
Just because I caught myself in this negative, and thank God I have the consciousness of this. My higher self just picked me up and, what are you doing? You crazy? Stop with that.
This is what. This is the quote that I read. I read earlier. Well, this is Baba. When everything goes wrong, the mind becomes helpless, and it has to rely entirely upon the heart.
Yeah.
These are the moments when you resign to my will, and so rely solely on my help. When you leave all to me, I dare not, care not, and you are relieved from the predicament. I dare not care. Baba said, Erich would share that, I dare not, care not. He has to look after us.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
this
he
is...
Does. He's being there with me every moment now. I'm going to this tough time, and he lifts me up. He does.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Hey, well, let's. If there isn't anything left, Jasima, you have anything that's rattling around there?
Yeah, I had a question, but
yeah,
maybe a silly question. So this daydreaming, Jeff. So what is this daydreaming? Is it the expression of our samskaras, or what is that?
Very good, very good. For some reason, I don't necessarily recommend this, but when I got into Baba, I decided not to daydream anymore. I don't know why. Because I felt that I wasn't quite present when I was daydreaming. I mean, it'd be one thing if you're doing a novel, and it'd be if you're writing a novel and you're trying to envision scenes and everything. But daydreaming, if it can be linked to something creative, but if it's just, I found that I felt inclined to give it up. I mean, Baba didn't even tell me. I just somehow felt to spend too much time in those imaginary worlds. Now, but like I say, if you're designing a garden or something, you're going to be up in your imagination and seeing how you want to design it and landscaping and all that. That's a different thing. But if it's just spinning out something that never amounts to anything, now I'm just saying, from my point of view, daydream about Baba. If you daydream, how you might be with him or whatever, and that will dissolve your daydream. That'll turn into a beautiful way of remembering Baba. In other words, given the fact that you have a tendency to daydream, well, think of scenes of maybe going to see Baba and how you would behave, what you would do, whatever. Make it, this is just my saying, make it so that you can have fun imagining Baba, and Baba himself will enjoy it. But daydreaming is, yeah, I don't know why. Shraddha, do you daydream much at all?
No, not really.
Yeah. Let me ask Diane. Diane, do you daydream very much?
You want to play therapist?
No. Like I say, I have no idea why I just dropped daydreaming. But it's kind of kept me kind of clear.
How did you do that?
Huh?
How did you do that?
I don't know. I just I don't know. I just thought I got addicted to being fully awake in the present, and I felt that was kind of a semi-world. I was good at daydreaming, but I kind of felt like, where have I gone? And I have to yank myself back to this moment. So it was just the dynamics of it built into it was intrinsically a distraction from where my consciousness wanted to be. But I'm going to say that's just me. There may be valuable, and like I was saying to Jasima, if you can bring Baba into the daydreams, that could be really, that's what I would do. Sometimes I like to picture Baba around in the room, sitting in the chair, walking around the garden or whatever. I actually enjoy that. and it's just like he's like free. He can kind of walk around and be with people, and it's kind of a beautiful thing. But it's from the heart level that it happens. It's not so much up here, but from the heart level.
But that's imagination, right, Jeff? Imagining, not daydreaming.
Yeah. Well, this is the Mandali. The Mandali said that this is the proper use of imagination. Imagine not that there's a pink elephant in the corner, or there's, you're going to be make it to the top of your field. Imagine that Baba is with you, or he's with others. He said that because eventually you'll find out that was true. That was actually the case. You imagine that Baba's right there with you, and one day you'll see that he was there all that time. So it's using imagination to basing on something that is in fact true. There was a friend of mine that he was hitchhiking, and he got into this excuse me, he got into a truck with this old black guy and a pickup truck, beat up kind of thing, and he sat in, and back then the seats were went all the way across. It weren't these bucket seats. And so he took his backpack and he put it, started to put it in the seat, in the space between them. And the old black guy said, no, that's where Jesus sits. So he had to put his backpack on the floor. So there he is. You know, he's got Jesus beside him. Now, the beautiful thing one time, and you probably remember this story, but when Baba was in Andhra, anyway, there was one guy, excuse me, there was one guy who had a seat, a chair in his house. And he said, if the God comes, this is solely for him. And he lived in Andhra, and Baba was going from city to city giving darshan. And they stopped in the middle of a trip. Baba got out of the car, went down this street, that, you know, and then went up a flight of stairs and sat in the chair. And the guy just, you know, was overwhelmed. And Baba stayed for a little bit and then left. But he made that place for Baba. And Baba, you know, just knew it, and he just found this guy's place, went up the flight of stairs and sat in the chair. So one day, you know, if you imagine Baba sitting in the room with you, one day he will be, actually. When you actually see Baba, you're thinking, oh my God, I've been imagining him there, and now he is there. Anyway, that's kind of one way of when I go to bed, I feel Baba's there, and I know he has to stay up all night. He never gets any sleep. And here I am, Baba, I'm going to sleep. And then when I wake up, you know, he's still there. You know, Baba, he doesn't get to sleep. There's a line where Baba said, you probably heard me quote this, this is Baba's words, the same theater, the same show, the same actors, 24 hours a day, eternally. And I have not only to stay awake, but smile and clap. That's Baba's. The same theater, the same show, the same actors, 24 hours a day, eternally. And I have not only to stay awake, but smile and clap. So he doesn't get any rest. So in a little while, it's 12 o'clock, I'm going to go sleep. And I know, I have to say, Baba, I'm taking a break here. I mean, I think eventually you don't want, you start feeling bad. I mean, it's terrible. I don't even feel bad about it. One day I will feel bad about it. And I'm sure the Mandali felt like, you know, well, Baba, I'm going to sleep. And he is always aware. Not only just aware of me, everybody gives everybody his full attention all the time. No break. That's what God is. That's the kind of God he is. Yeah. Lanita, I wish you didn't have to go through all of that. It's a lot.
Well,
yeah.
I'm trying to surrender to Baba's will. And
Yeah.
if I'm going to this, that's my journey, and that's designed for me, and
Yeah.
I have to do it. I
Yeah.
got no choice. You give me no choice. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's very hard, but
Yeah.
but I trust in Baba that that's for my own good, I guess. You know, he's got a
Yeah.
plan for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's easy to say than done, you know. But
My burning question to Baba when I first got into him that I had to have answered, and I put it before Baba day after day after day. Is there a loving wisdom behind everything that happens? The good, bad, and ugly. Is there? It took me 40 years to get that experience. And it didn't come through all the love that was lavished on me. It came through very difficult, painful, negative experiences. That's why. But there is a loving wisdom behind everything that happens. It's hard. But it's not just an intellectual thing, even an intuitive thing, but to get it experientially.
Yeah.
That is the.
You know, I have pain in my entire body over this.
Yeah.
I'm doing acupuncture now. She's helping to release that the pain, you know, that I have. I mean, she's saying that is because this emotional burden that I'm going through. I believe that, you know, I think it is because everything that is emotional goes to the body. You know, the body reflects the mind and the emotions. So she's helping me a lot to release. You know, I feel better. I can sleep better when I do the acupuncture. But I have pain, you know, from my neck to my toes. You know.
Yeah.
And I feel better now. It's getting better. I hope.
And if you can get the root cause at the emotional level, and give that to Baba, and it's hard to go down into the very core complex and give it to Baba. That's the challenge. I mean, otherwise it kind of stays up here, and the root cause isn't up here. It's farther down. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to Baba about this every day.
Yeah.
I've been passing him. He's already fed up with me.
Yeah. No, you're keeping him awake.
Yeah.
He's happy that you're spending more time with him. I think that's
really.
why he's doing it. He's wanting you to rely only on him and him.
Yes. I think that's the plan. That's his plan, you know, to get my attention.
No, it really is. I mean, all these lousy things that happen make us remember Baba. You know, I mean, they force us to sometimes.
Jeff, remember that story at Darren Shaw's book, Effort and Grace, about that donkey?
Yeah.
Donkey that the guy was going to buy it.
You remember that story? Is the donkey obedient? Well, and he takes a 2x4, hits him over the head. What do you mean? Well, I have first to get his attention.
That's what Baba is doing to me. He wants to get my attention no matter what.
Yeah. No, but
and I find just remembering too that like he's always going to protect you. He's always there with you, and he's always keeping you safe and protecting you. And that always reassures me in those moments of suffering. It's like, okay, my mind doesn't like this, my body doesn't like this, but Baba, you're going to protect me and take me through this.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah. I always ask Baba, stay with me. Just don't leave me. Don't
He's
you
always
ever
there. He never leaves us.
You know.
Yeah.
I always ask him that, you know, stay with me, don't go away. stay here.
Yeah. No, Darwin
But I
was
have
up on
to
the.
stay with him also.
What's that?
I
Yeah,
have to stay with him also.
Yeah.
When I ask him to stay with me, I have to hang on to.
Yeah, Darwin was. Did we lose? Oh, I think we lost Michael. I thought he was going to read a poem. You know, when Darwin was up with Baba in 1954 in what's the museum room, and Baba was dictating on the alphabet board, and Darwin was writing it down on the stenographer pad as Bob was dictating it. And this is what Baba said: "Don't worry, let me do the worrying. I enjoy working things out. There's no use in you and I worrying. If you are going to worry, then I won't worry." But the main point here is, don't worry, let me do the worrying. I enjoy working things out. Bob actually likes working things out. When we worry, we rob him of something he likes to do. He likes to work things out. So anytime I find I'm worrying, I know that I'm elbowing Baba out. I'm going to do this myself. Get out of the way and let Baba do something that he loves doing. I enjoy working things out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I think.
Dinku left.
Huh?
Dinku left. Dinku. Dinku,
Yeah.
are you there?
Oh no, Dinku's there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna head, unless there's one last quote or something of Baba. Priya, do you have a last quote?
Well, no, Jeff, you read the quote that I wanted. It
Okay.
wasn't that one. Thank you.
Okay.
Lenita, I'm still here.
Hi,
I was a bit busy. Hi.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for the text that you sent to me. I'm going to read about the hormone stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I thought you'd need it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Jai Baba.
Always.
Okay.
Jai Baba.
Anyway, you folks all just don't forget Baba loves and adores us no matter what. He's never really disapproves. He might look like he disapproves, but he never really disapproves. How could he? He made us. He can't just fault his own creations. Anyway, I'll catch you all.
Yes.
Love to Vancouver Island.
Bye.
Nanaimo.
Bye.
See you, Dinku, Priya.
Thank you. Thank
Meth.
you all.
Dinesh.
Jai Baba.
Thank you. Jai Baba.
Bye. Jai Baba.
Thank you. Yes.